Most people don't procrastinate by doing nothing. They procrastinate by doing everything except the one thing that would actually change their life. Their days are full. Messages, tasks, meetings, notes, planning, optimizing. There is always something to respond to, something to fix, something to improve. And because there is constant movement, it feels productive. That feeling is what makes it dangerous. Busyness has become a socially acceptable way to avoid clarity. When you are busy, you don't have to decide. You don't have to choose a direction. You don't have to commit to something that might expose you to failure. You can stay in motion and tell yourself you are trying. You can confuse effort with progress. You can replace courage with activity. But effort without direction is not progress. It is camouflage. Busy people rarely feel lazy. They feel tired. And exhaustion creates the illusion that something meaningful must be happening. In reality, much of that energy is being spent maintaining momentum, not building leverage. You are keeping things running, not changing their trajectory. Leverage is uncomfortable. Leverage requires stillness. It requires stepping back long enough to see patterns instead of tasks. It means asking questions that don't have immediate answers. It means tolerating silence without filling it with movement. That discomfort is why most people avoid it. Busyness gives you a script. Wake up, react, complete tasks, respond to what's in front of you, repeat. There is no need to think deeply when the day is already full. But leverage forces a different question. What would make this unnecessary in the future? That question is confronting, because it exposes how much of what you do exists only because you never stop to redesign it. It reveals which tasks don't scale, which habits are just maintenance, which problems return every week no matter how hard you work. Most people don't actually want freedom. They want reassurance. They want to feel like they're doing enough. They want proof that their effort is justified. Busyness provides that reassurance. You can always point to activity as evidence of commitment, even when nothing compounds, even when outcomes stay the same. This is why productivity culture is so addictive. It rewards motion instead of results. It praises intensity instead of effectiveness. Being overwhelmed is treated like ambition. Being calm is treated like laziness. But long-term progress doesn't come from doing more. It comes from choosing fewer things and letting them compound quietly. That requires patience. It requires letting days feel empty. It requires resisting the urge to replace silence with noise. And this is where most people get confused. Because when you slow down, it feels like procrastination. When you stop reacting, it feels like falling behind. When you say no, it feels like you're missing something. But that feeling is not a signal that you're failing. It's a signal that you've stepped out of constant motion. Real work often looks unimpressive from the outside. Thinking without acting. Designing without announcing. Waiting without reassurance. There are no visible signals that something is happening. No immediate feedback. No external validation. Which is why it's misunderstood. If you are always busy, you never have to confront whether what you're building actually matters. You can stay occupied indefinitely. But the moment you slow down, you are forced to see the structure of your life clearly. Where your time goes. What grows over time. What stays exactly the same no matter how much effort you apply. That moment is uncomfortable. So most people avoid it. They stay busy not because they are ambitious, but because busyness protects them from the responsibility of choosing differently. If you want leverage, you don't need more discipline. You don't need a better routine. You don't need to push harder. You need fewer commitments. You need space to think long enough to notice what isn't working. And patience to let something small grow instead of constantly replacing it with activity. Busyness feels productive. Leverage feels slow. One keeps you occupied. The other quietly changes your future.